Fire versus ice, element versus element. This would be the ultimate battle. Avdol versus Ghiaccio, Magician's Red versus White Album. Part 3 of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure stars 5 main cast members: Joseph Joestar, Jotaro Kujo, Gian Piero Polnareff, Ghiaccio Noriaki, and last but certainly not least, Muhammad Avdol. Avdol's stand is Magician's Red, named after the first major arcana tarot card, the Magician, which symbolizes beginnings. This makes sense as his stand is the first ever stand introduced in JoJo's Bizarre Adventure in chapter 115 of the manga, as well as the first ever episode of the Stardust Crusaders anime. Now every stand has a bizarre ability, and Magician's Red is no exception. He utilizes the element of fire and heat to burn and cauterize his enemies. He has a B in destructive power, a B in speed, a C in range, a D in developmental potential, C in precision, and B in persistence, making him one of the most powerful stands in Part 3. Ghiaccio is an enemy stand user that first appears in Part 5, Golden Wind, wielding the stand White Album, named after the 1968 Beatles album. White Album is actually the first suit-based stand to ever appear in the series. It also allows its user to freeze practically anything in his vicinity. With an A in destructive power, a C in speed, a C in range, an E in developmental potential, an E in precision, and an A in persistence, he too is an extremely powerful enemy. His rare suit type stand has the added bonus of making the user almost completely invulnerable, except for one faulty hole located in the neck of his armor. Both of these stands are incredibly formidable. They would put up one hell of a fight. But when pinned up against each other, it would become a battle of elements, fire versus ice. This is how I think the battle would go. Avdol is alone on his island, recovering from the J. Gale battle, when all of a sudden, he feels a chill. The windows begin to frost. He lights a single flame to warm himself. He steps outside as the island becomes colder and colder. Avdol then sees something coming from the shore. A figure seemingly gliding atop the water. It's Ghiaccio, skating directly towards the island on pieces of frozen ocean. Avdol becomes alarmed and readies Magician's Red. As Ghiaccio approaches the island, Avdol boils the ocean water. The very ice beneath Ghiaccio's feet melt away. Ghiaccio retreats to a place in the water where Avdol is unable to reach. Ghiaccio then slowly dunks his hand in the water. Steam rises from the boiling ocean near Avdol, slowly producing a steam cloud of which Avdol cannot see through. At this point, Avdol lost sight of Ghiaccio through the steam. He immediately stops boiling the water. All of a sudden, massive chunks of ice come flying towards Avdol. Magician's Red barely manages to melt each and every ice projectile mid-air. Ghiaccio emerges from the steam on a thin layer of ice. Avdol blasts fire at Ghiaccio, but unfortunately for Avdol, Ghiaccio manages to get on shore. The armor seems to be completely protecting Ghiaccio from the flames. Unaffected, Ghiaccio marches towards Avdol. Ghiaccio cannot produce ice, as it will be melted, and Avdol cannot use fire, as it would be futile against White Album's armor. This has suddenly turned into a battle of strength. Avdol punches Ghiaccio, but yet again his armor dampens the blow. Ghiaccio responds with a flurry of attacks, yet Avdol easily blocks each and every attack, as Ghiaccio is not trained in hand-to-hand combat. Avdol then throws Ghiaccio to the floor, beating him until his armor cracks, and when his armor cracks, Avdol punches his body, retiring Ghiaccio. Thank you guys so much for watching my first ever video. Tell me in the comments how you think this battle would go, and as always, stay analytical.